हेलो हेलो दोस्तों, टुडे we will discuss about consumers equilibrium through indifference curve analysis. Though there are many subjects in economics, this is also one of the important subjects in managerial economics and also for the economics honors students. So consumer equilibrium can be discussed through marginal utility analysis and also can be discussed through indifference curve analysis. My name is Dr. Manoj Kumar Sahu. I am the Faculty of Economics. So let us discuss about consumer equilibrium. Now, before going to discuss about the consumer equilibrium, I will share the screen to you. Okay, so this is the consumers equilibrium through indifference curve analysis. Now, consumer equilibrium is based on ordinal approach and explains the behavior of consumer in terms of his preferences. But before going to discuss about consumer equilibrium, we will first discuss two things. One is the indifference curve and second one is the budget line. Because if you do not know about the indifference curve and what is budget line, then you will not be able to understand what is consumer's equilibrium, because consumer equilibrium can be possible by the intersection of the indifference curve and the budget line. Okay, so it is basically consumer equilibrium is an ordinal approach, okay, which explains the behavior of consumers in terms of his preferences to purchase one or two goods at a time. So indifference curve may be defined as locus of points. Each representing point is a combination of two substitute goods which gives the same utility or level of satisfaction to the consumer. That means indifference curve is saying that it is a locus of combination of a different factor inputs. Okay, different two goods which gives same utility or same satisfaction to the consumers. Not exactly factor input; these are two goods. Okay, indifference curve is a locus of combination of two goods. One may be X or another may be Y, and both the goods you have to purchase with a limited income which will be given to you, and within that income you have to purchase X and Y in such a way that a total money income will be spent and you will get the maximum satisfaction. So consumer will get the maximum satisfaction by purchasing two goods, maybe Kit Kat chocolate or Cadbury chocolate, okay, maybe apple or orange, and whatever money income he has or she has to spend on both the goods, and his or her satisfaction will be maximum. And this concept can be explained through two things. One is indifference curve, another is budget line, because these two things will be applied in consumers equilibrium approach. Now let us discuss what is indifference curve. Now see from this diagram that indifference curve is downward sloping from left to right. You can see this is the indifference curve is in the left side diagram, which is in yellow lines, which is downward sloping. Okay, and it is and the shape of the indifference curve which called as the rectangular hyperbola. Rectangular hyperbola. And you see there are many indifference curves in the right side of the diagram, which shows that IC1, IC2, and IC3. Okay, so indifference map is nothing but it is a group of indifference curves. It is a collection of indifference curves. So IC1 is first indifference curve and second indifference curve is IC2 and it is IC3. So whenever we draw different IC curves in a single diagram, we call it as indifference map. And if you define indifference map is nothing but it is the group of indifference curves, the collection of indifference curves. Now coming to the different properties of indifference curve. Now first property of indifference curve is downward sloping. Now the indifference curve is downward sloping. It slopes downward from left to right and is convex to the origin. It's convex to the origin. And the third one is higher than indifference curve represents a higher level of satisfaction. If you move up and up, you will get more and more level of satisfaction. जैसे जैसे आप ऊपर जाएंगे वैसे वैसे आपको ज्यादा से ज्यादा satisfaction मिलेगा. And the fourth one is the indifference curve does not touch either axis. Neither indifference curve touch the x-axis, vertical axis, or it touch the y-axis, that is the horizontal axis. It never touches both the axis, x-axis and y-axis. The property. And the fifth important property of indifference curve is neither intersects nor be tangent with one another. Indifference curves never intersect with each other. ये कभी भी दोनों इंडिफरेंस कर्व जो है IC1 और IC2 कभी दोनों अपने आप को इंडिफरेंस ये क्रॉस नहीं करेंगे. सो दैट इज नेवर इंटरसेक्ट विद ईच अदर, नाइदर ये टेंजेंट हो पाएंगे विद वन अनदर. सो दीज आर द important properties of indifference curve. That is, first one is downward sloping. It slopes downward from left to right. Second one, it is convex to the origin from left to right and convex to the origin. Third one is higher the indifference curve represents a higher level of satisfaction. आप जितना ऊपर ऊपर की तरफ आप indifference curve के ऊपर तरफ जाएंगे आपको उतना satisfaction मिलेगा. And the reverse is true. That means if you move to the lower and lower indifference curves, you will get a lower and lower level of satisfaction. Suppose you are in a IC1, अगर आप IC2 में जाएंगे, जैसे मैं इस डायग्राम में दिखा रहा था कि मान लो आप IC1 में है, आपको यहाँ पर 100 यूनिट का satisfaction मिल रहा है. जैसे आप ऊपर की तरफ जाएंगे IC2 में जाएंगे, यहाँ पे आपको 200 यूनिट का satisfaction मिलेगा. जैसे अगर आप ऊपर जाएंगे IC3 में जाएंगे, there you will get also 300 units of level of satisfaction. And if you move lower and lower, मान लो आप 300 satisfaction आपको मिल रहा था IC3 में, आप जैसे IC2 में वापस आएंगे तो आपको 200 यूनिट satisfaction मिलेगा. And if you move to the IC1, you may get 100 units of satisfaction. So higher the indifference curve, higher the satisfaction, and lower the indifference curve gives a lower level of satisfaction to the consumer. This is the important feature of the indifference curve, or this is a property of the indifference curve. And both in the indifference curve never intersect with each other. Okay, never ever the indifference curves intersect with each other, and neither they touch the x-axis nor the y-axis. So these are the important properties of the indifference curve. Now, what is budget line? Budget line shows all the possible combinations of two commodities that could be pursued with a given amount of income. That means, suppose you will be given 100 rupees, okay, and you will be asked to purchase X and Y product, apple and orange, or Kit Kat and Cadbury. So you have to spend your total 100 rupees in both the commodities so that your satisfaction will be maximum and nothing money income will be left in your hand. That shows that you may spend 10 rupees on one chocolate and 40 rupees on another chocolate. So total is 50 rupees is spent. Okay, if you have given 50 rupees, suppose you have given 100 rupees. Okay, अगर आपको 100 रुपया दिया जाता है तो हो सकता है आप 60 रुपीज कैडबरी के ऊपर स्पेंड कर सकते हो, 40 रुपया आप किटकैट के ऊपर स्पेंड कर सकते हो. So in this way you have to spend your total amount. You cannot purchase more than 100 rupees. Suppose there are the two goods which total price is 150 rupees. So you are not allowed to purchase the two goods because your budget is only 100 rupees. So that represents your budget line. So budget line means all possible combinations of two goods. Maybe 20-80 combination, or 80 or 20 combination, or 40 or 60 combination, or 50 or 50 combinations, or 30 or 70 combinations. Means you will spend 30 rupees on X commodity and 70 rupees on Y commodities. So in either way you have to just spend 100 rupees in both the commodities. But you are not allowed to purchase more than 100. That means you have a limited budget, limited income. That shows your budget line. It is basically a straight line that slopes downward from left to right. Budget line, also known as the budget constant, is a limitation, is a constant for you. You cannot purchase more than 100 rupees. The equation of the budget line can be represented by the total money income. M here represents the consumer's income. Suppose it is 100 rupees and you have to purchase X product and Y product. So price of X represented PX, price of Y product is represented by PY, and QX, QY is purchased of X product, quantity of X product and quantity of Y product. Now you can see from this diagram that this red line in the right side diagram, red line represents the budget line. Here the consumer is given 50 rupees to be spent. Total money income of the consumer is 50 rupees. Now he has to purchase two goods. That is, one is a cream biscuit, another is a plain biscuit. Now you see from the x-axis here, x-axis में आप देख सकते हो, लेफ्ट साइड वर्टिकल एक्सिस में प्लेन बिस्किट वो परचेज कर रहे हैं 10 यूनिट्स, जिसका प्राइस है 5, और यहाँ से वो 5 यूनिट्स ले रहा है बिस्किट से. So 10 into 5, that means 50 rupees is spent on plain biscuit 10 rupees and a cream biscuit 5 rupees. So total is 50 rupees. Whatever money income is given to the consumer, it is totally spent. So this represents, whenever we draw a line from 10 to 5, it is this red line shows the budget line. You cannot move more than 10, that means 12, and more than 5, that is 6. Because if you purchase 12 and 6, there will be 72 rupees, but total income which is given to you, that is 50 rupees. So your budget is not allowing you more than 50. So here there are different combinations of given in the left side of the table. You can see combination A is a combination of 50 rupees, which is distributed among cream biscuit and plain biscuit, where cream biscuit price is 10 rupees and plain biscuit the price is for packet is 10 rupees. Here the consumer is spending 0 unit on 0 rupees on cream biscuit and 10 units from the 5. So total is 10 into 0 plus 5 into 0 is total 50 rupees is spent. So here the consumer, you can purchasing different combinations, 4 packets from, you can see from cream biscuit, here 2 packets from the plain biscuit, which is total is 50 rupees is spent for the combination of E. Okay, so if you move to the 4 and 2 in this diagram, you will get also the 50 rupees total is spent. So you can move to the left side of the diagram. This red line से आप left में आ सकते हो. You can't move to the right side of this red line because your budget is not allowing. You can move to the left side of the red line, budget line, okay, and it is downward sloping from left to right. Now you see, we got the idea what is indifference curve and what is budget line. Now we can discuss consumer's equilibrium through indifference curve analysis. Consumer's equilibrium through indifference curve analysis is based on the ordinal concept of utility. Before that, there was a discussion of consumer's equilibrium through utility analysis, which is called as also subjective analysis. Okay, and that is cardinal. Okay, here the indifference curve analysis measures where and how the consumer is getting maximum satisfaction with the limited income by consuming goods. That means you are given suppose 100 rupees, that is your limited income, and you have to purchase both the goods so that your satisfaction will be maximum. So now what is consumer's equilibrium exactly? Consumer's equilibrium in indifference curve analysis is defined as a situation when the consumer maximizes his satisfaction spending his given income across different goods with the given prices. The prices is given, money income is given, consumer has to purchase both the goods X and Y suppose, and you will get the maximum satisfaction. And consumer should get the maximum satisfaction. Here the indifference curve and the budget line are used to determine the consumer's equilibrium point. I have already told in the earlier that how the consumer gets its equilibrium point to indifference curve analysis. We have to discuss about the difference curve and borderline, which is which are the two tools or techniques are used for consumer equilibrium point. Indifference curve analysis helps to find out how the consumer spends his limited income on the combination of different goods to get maximum level of satisfaction. Now, what is again the consumer equilibrium? Consumer equilibrium refers to a situation in which a consumer with a given income, suppose 100 rupees, and given prices, suppose price of X is Y, X is 5 rupees, and price of Y is 10 rupees. So you have to purchase a combination of X and Y product, which will give you maximum satisfaction, and the consumer is not willing to make any changes in it during the purchase. That is the consumer equilibrium meaning. Now, what are the assumptions of this consumer equilibrium through independent curve analysis? The first assumption or a condition of a consumer equilibrium is that the money income of the consumer is given and it is constant. That means whatever money income will be given to the consumer has to spend on both the goods. Total money income should be spent. They will not given more income. So whatever income is given at the beginning, it will remain constant. Okay. And second condition is that two goods, X and Y support, on which income is spent, they should be substitute products. Tea and coffee, pen and pencil, okay, orange and apple, KitKat and Cadbury. So these are the different types of substitute goods. That means the condition of this theory is that two goods should be substitute goods. Third condition is that the consumer is rational and always try to maximize his satisfaction. Rational means the consumer must be a decision maker. He or she should be able to take the decision. It should not be a irrational person or abnormal person. Because if the abnormal person will be taken into our study, it will not have any impact on that consumer. बिकॉज अगर जैसे कि मैं बता रहा हूँ कि अबनॉर्मल पर्सन और इरेशनल पर्सन वही होता है जो उसका दिमाग का संतुलन नहीं होता, जिसको हम पागल बोलते हैं कि नहीं. सो इन दिस थ्योरी कंज्यूमर शुड बी ए रेशनल पर्सन, normal person, not abnormal person. Fourth condition that the prices of goods should remain constant. Whatever price X and Y is fixed at the beginning, that should remain constant. Suppose if you are taking the price of a good X is 5 rupees and the price of a good Y is 10 rupees, it will remain constant, it will not change during the purchase of the consumer. The consumer is aware of the prices prevailing in the market of all goods. The fifth condition is that consumer is well aware about the whatever prices of X and Y product available in the market. Now, sixth condition is that the consumer spend his total income in small quantities. वो धीरे धीरे उसका पैसा खर्चा कर रहा है. 5 rupees मान लो spend कर रहे हैं. X के ऊपर rest 45 rupees. Suppose if you are given 50 rupees and that is spending on Y. तो अगर आपको मान लो 100 rupees जा रहे हैं, आप 20 rupees X के ऊपर, 80 rupees Y के ऊपर. नहीं तो आप 40 रुपया आप X के ऊपर, 60 रुपया आप Y के ऊपर आप ये भी खर्च कर सकते हो. So there is a perfect combination in the market. That means free entry and free exit. If somebody wants to come into the market doing your business, you are welcome to the market. So there is no restriction. Free entry and free exit is there in case of perfect condition, where you can find also large number of buyers and also large number of sellers in that market. And commodities are divisible. Both the commodities are divisible into different units. The consumer is fully aware of the indifference map. The ninth assumption or condition of this theory is the consumer is fully aware of the indifference map. I have already shown what is indifference map. Indifference map is a group of indifference curves. Now coming to the what are the conditions of the consumer equilibrium? What are the important conditions without which you cannot achieve equilibrium point? Now the consumer's equilibrium under indifference curve analysis is found at the tangent between the budget line and a convex indifference curve. That means both the indifference curve, which is convex to the origin, and the budget line, which is straight line, which is sloped down from left to right, both the budget line and indifference curve should be tangent to each other. They should touch with each other. To find the consumer's equilibrium, the following condition must be satisfied. The first condition is that price or budget line should be tangent to an indifference curve. Budget line को कभी-कभी हम भी price line भी बोलते हैं. So price line or budget line should be tangent to an indifference curve. The first condition. Second condition is that indifference curve must be convex to the origin. Indifference curve जो है वो जीरो एक्सिस की तरफ, जीरो पॉइंट की तरफ वो कन्वेक्स होना चाहिए. And mathematically, if you take the slope of the indifference curve, you will find that the slope of the indifference curve is measured in terms of a marginal rate of substitution x per y. यहाँ पे जो येलो में लिखा है MRS x per y, इसका मतलब है if you want to measure the slope of the indifference curve, that represents to MRS, marginal rate of substitution x per y product. That should be equal to the slope of the budget line. Slope of the budget line is measured by P1 by P2, means price of first product divided by the price of the second product. Or the condition is that, equilibrium condition is that MRS x per y should be equal to P1 by P2. P1 by P2 represents the slope of the budget line, and MRS x per y represents the slope of the difference curve. And this type question comes in your exam that what is the consumer's equilibrium condition? You have to write the slope of the difference curve MRS x per y should be equal to slope of the budget line P1 by P2. Okay, at the equilibrium point. And what are the two conditions of the equilibrium point? These types of question may come also. So you have to write there are two conditions. First condition is that price line or the budget line should be tangent to the difference curve. Second condition that indifference curve must be convex to the origin. ठीक है, ये both conditions should be satisfied by the indifference curve and budget line so that consumer will be in equilibrium. This question comes very repeatedly in the exam, so mind at this point. Now coming to the next, to the diagram. In this diagram we are measuring KitKat chocolate in OY vertical axis, and this OY vertical axis you can see, and OX horizontal axis measures the dairy milk. Okay, dairy milk chocolate. We are measuring the OX axis and KitKat chocolate in the OY vertical axis. Okay, so इसमें क्या है? A and B, this straight line A and B, which is downward sloping, represents the budget line. And you can see these are the indifference curves IC1, IC2, and IC3. These are the indifference curves. Okay, you can see from this diagram that at point D, D is the equilibrium point. Why D is called as the equilibrium point, consumer's equilibrium point? Because here the indifference curve IC2 is tangent to the budget line AB at point D. So D is the equilibrium point. And here the consumer is purchasing 6 units of a KitKat and 2 units of dairy milk. Okay, and the consumer is getting maximum satisfaction and total money income is spent. Now you can say there is also another point at point C, and there is also another point at point E. Here no doubt C and E both are the equilibrium points, you can say, but these are not the really equilibrium point, because here you can see these are just intersecting the budget line AB at point C from the above, and here you can see the indifference curve IC1 is just touching the budget line AB at point E, but both are not convex to the origin. They are the concave points. And second condition is that indifference curve is in a lower indifference curve. You see, IC1 is in a lower indifference curve, and whereas IC2 is in a higher indifference curve. So here the consumer, whenever he is getting maximum satisfaction or higher satisfaction at IC2, why the consumer will stay at IC1? Because you know from the property of indifference curve that IC1 gives, means a lower indifference curve gives a lower level of satisfaction, and a higher indifference curve gives a higher level of satisfaction. So here no doubt point E and point C are equilibrium points, you can say, but they are not the equilibrium points in real sense, because C and E points are rejected because both the points are not convex to the origin and they are remaining under a lower indifference curve. Whereas IC2 is remaining at a higher indifference curve where the consumer is getting more satisfaction. And you can say, sir, there is also another indifference curve IC3. Yes, there is a new indifference curve IC3 where you get more satisfaction because from the property we have studied that higher indifference curve gives higher level of satisfaction, the lower indifference curve gives lower level of satisfaction. So the consumer may choose IC3, but the budget is not allowing to the consumer because the budget line is A and B. And IC3 is just above the budget line. So anything you can purchase within A, B line, not more than or above the AB line because AB line represents your budget line. Budget is not allowed to move to the IC3 indifference curve. You are not allowed to purchase more commodities X and Y here in this diagram, KitKat and Dairy Milk. Your budget is not allowing you to move to the higher indifference curve IC3, though it is providing more satisfaction. ठीक है, मान लो IC3 आपको ज्यादा सेटिस्फेक्शन मिल रहा है, ये हायर इंडिपेंडेंस कर्व के ऊपर है, मगर आपका बजट आपको अलाउ नहीं कर रहा है क्योंकि बजट लाइन इज ए बी. You can stay on the budget line or you can remain below the budget line. You cannot move to the above of the budget line. So IC3 lies above the budget line. So IC3 is rejected. Here will not the consumer's equilibrium point. You can, and IC1 is also rejected because IC1 represents the lower indifference curve where the consumer is getting low level of satisfaction. IC3 is rejected because budget is not allowed. And only the indifference curve IC2 where you are getting the maximum satisfaction and both the conditions of equilibrium is satisfied. Here AB budget line is tangent to the indifference curve IC2 and second is IC2 is convex to the origin O. So both the consumers equilibrium condition is satisfied and here both the MRS X for Y is equal to the Px by Py at point D. Here the consumer is purchasing 6 units from KitKat, okay, and 2 units from Dairy Milk, where total money income is spent by the consumer and a consumer's equilibrium point is achieved, and P in this diagram is the consumer's equilibrium point. Now, what are the criticisms or limitations of this consumer's equilibrium through indifference curve analysis? These are the unrealistic assumptions. And second criticism that complex analysis, third is imaginary, fourth point is ignore series introspective assumptions of convexity, and the seventh one is old wine in a new bottle. Now let us discuss one by one criticisms of this indifference curve analysis. First is criticism is saying that unrealistic assumptions. Indifference curve analysis is based on the assumption that a consumer has complete knowledge regarding scale of preference of foods. In reality, if you see, a consumer is not a computer. He cannot take quick decision in your life. So this indifference curve approach is really unrealistic assumptions, unrealistic conditions taken. आपको बता दूं कि ये कंज्यूमर हर टाइम एक कंप्यूटर नहीं होता है. एवरी टाइम कंप्यूटर कंज्यूमर इज नॉट ए कंप्यूटर. ही कैन नॉट टेक डिसीजन कि मेरे को 4 परचेज करना है ऑरेंज, 10 परचेज करना है एप्पल, मेरे को 3 परचेज करना है किटकैट और 10 परचेज करना है मान लो डेयरी मिल्क. ऐसे हिसाब करके कंज्यूमर परचेज नहीं कर पाएगा. कंज्यूमर कैन नॉट परचेज बाय कैलकुलेटिंग 3 यूनिट्स फ्रॉम एक्स एंड 4 यूनिट्स फ्रॉम वाई. It is unrealistic assumptions. Now, what is the complex analysis? Indifference curve analysis can explain easily that behavior of the consumer, which is restricted to the combination of only 2 goods. But the consumer wants to purchase more goods, more than 2 goods. In that case, indifference curve is failed to explain. Okay. Now, what is imaginary? Now, according to the Schumpeter, one of the important, very famous economist, Schumpeter, J. Schumpeter. According to him, indifference curve analysis is not based on the experience of a real life. Indifference curve analysis is based on the concept of imaginary combination. Sum of X and sum of Y. You have to take combination of both the goods. Suppose the consumer wants to purchase total of X and he is not interested to purchase total of y or any unity of y. In that case, this theory is felt to explain the concept of consumer satisfaction. And the consumer does not decide always like a computer as to which combination he wants to purchase and which combination he wants to reject. That is an imaginary case. And the fourth criticism that ignores combinations involved risk. So many times consumer suppose purchasing X unit of 10 units and 20 units of Y. So there may be risk, involvement of risk. From these 10 units of X, he may not get the satisfaction. And here there is an involvement of a risk and uncertainty. And his satisfaction may not be maximum. So no, there is a involvement of risk and uncertainty. मान लो ये 20 यूनिट मान लो वाई परचेज किया, कैडबरी से वो 10 लिया और 5 यूनिट उन्होंने लिया डेयरी मिल्क से, हो सकता है उसको कैडबरी अच्छा ना लगे. In that case, there is involvement of risk and uncertainty, and every time the consumer cannot take the risk. Which unit will get the maximum share, which unit will give you maximum share, it cannot be clearly explained. ये जैसे कि मतलब गैम्बलिंग जैसा है, अब एक्स परचेज कर लो दिस मच, वाई परचेज कर दिस मच एंड टोटल मनी स्पेंड कर दो, आपका सेटिस्फैक्शन मैक्सिमम जाए. दिस मे नॉट बी हैपन ऑलवेज, है कि नहीं? दैट इज आल्सो अनदर क्रिटिसिज्म ऑफ indifference curve analysis. And the indifference curve analysis limitation or criticism that introspective. According to Samuelson, indifference curve analysis is also concerned with the mental activities of the man. Always, every time you have to think, you have to just think and rethink. आप हमेशा सोचते रहते हो कि मैं एक्स में कितना परचेस करूं, वाई से आप कितना परचेस करो. तो कोई मान लो कंज्यूमर जो मार्केट जाता है, whenever a consumer is moving to a market, always say may not think that how much she or she will purchase of X and Y. It becomes essential to know the mental functioning regarding the choice of combinations. Accordingly, Samuelson has tried to study consumer on the basis of his behavior. And Samuelson has given one theory, and his theory known as relative preference, where he has explained weak axioms and the strong axioms, where the consumer really expressing its satisfaction or willingness to purchase of X and Y. So this theory is rejected by it is too much introspective concept by Samuelson. And sixth criticism is that assumption of a convexity. According to Coulson, is another limitation of its assumptions of a convexity. This theory does not explain why an indifference curve is convex to the point of origin. Suppose if the case of a concave, it is not discussing. And why it is particularly convex to the origin, it is also not explained. In real life, it is not necessary that all goods should have a diminishing marginal rate of substitution. You have to substitute X for Y means अगर आपको Y कंज्यूम करना होगा तो आपको X को छोड़ना पड़ेगा. अगर आप मान लो आप Y को छोड़ते हो तो आपको X पर चलना पड़ेगा. मतलब अगर आप किटकैट खाना है तो आपको डेयरी मिल्क को छोड़ना पड़ेगा, या तो डेयरी मिल्क खाना है आपको तो किटकैट छोड़ना पड़ेगा, है नहीं? So in that case it may not be always convex to the origin, नहीं? Because convex origin का जो slope होता है वो मेजरमेंट किया जाता है diminishing marginal rate of substitution. So the consumer may not get always the correct convex to the origin point. So in that case, here a live case. Okay. So all the goods should have diminishing marginal rate of substitution. ये guarantee नहीं है. It is not necessary that all goods should have diminishing marginal rate of substitution. And the last criticism of indifference curve analysis is that old wine in a new bottle. Professor Robertson is saying that it does not find anything new in this indifference curve analysis. It has already explained this concept in case of marginal utility analysis. यहाँ पर था कि you are measuring the utility of the consumer by 1, 2, 3 or utility concept. Here you are just expressing your preference to ordinal numbers. 1, 2, 3 have been used. It makes use of a scale of preference in place of utility. And the law of diminishing marginal rate of substitution in place of law of diminishing marginal utility. मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी और यही बोला था ना कि डाउनवर्ड स्लोपिंग एंड इट इज नेगेटिव return. If a consumer continuously consuming one after another, you will get the negative satisfaction. The same thing, it is replaced. That's all no. And likewise, both the analysis reach the same conclusion that so far the consumer equilibrium is concerned. Okay? So these are the different criticisms or limitations of this indifference curve analysis. I hope you understand this consumer equilibrium. Okay. So we will meet another new topic in another class. We'll discuss another topic in a new class. Hope you will understand. Please comments, like my channel Ecovita. My channel name is Ecovita. Like, subscribe for new topics to be discussed, and just ring the or just press the bell button. Okay, we will discuss new topics in further classes. So thank you all. Thank you.